Women's rights? Oh, nothing is more important than that. And I employ tens of thousands of women as the CEO of a progressive Fortune 500 company. I mean, women need to have the right to choose. And as many women as possible should choose to spend their 20s, 30s, 40s, maybe to the mid 40s working here. Then we'll get rid of you, okay? And that's called equality. Equality? You know, you talk about that a little bit, you can get away with murder around here. It's about men's productivity too. If I had to go to the birth of every child, of every woman I knocked up, I mean, I wouldn't have been able to close the Pfizer deal. And those mandates made us billions. There is no right that, when threatened, costs me more money. So let's do some math here. $500, $1,000, gotta pay some travel fees. What, you don't need more than one night of lodging, do you? Yeah, we're gonna say get you back here within 2 days. We can pretty much do as many of these as you need. Do you need more than one a year? Women's rights are about more than women, too. Because we understand that men can get pregnant. If that man is still not so they're a man that's pregnant, but they have women's rights also because women's rights apply to all pregnant people, even though some of women's rights apply to pregnant people. Simple. It's not that hard, Matt Walsh. The truth is, the ones who are really uptight about this stuff, they're not doing you at lunch, okay? So those are the ones you want to keep around, those purple-haired ones, you know? So our new maternal leave policy is going to be 3 days for people in Mississippi, Alabama, Texas, and Kentucky. For employees in New York, Connecticut, and California, you will have 6 hours. Please speak to HR if you need any time off. That's our new policy. We're gonna fight for women's rights and equality. And the end. Oh man, plus if I had to pay child support, that would have been like half my bonus. I'm serious.
Ladies and gentlemen, this episode is brought to you by the Libertarian Party. Mises Caucus presents Florida Freedom Festival, October 20th through the 23rd. If you are a libertarian or not a libertarian, if you just like having a good time and hanging out with feds like Adam Nutter and other special guests that are definitely also not feds, go on over to FloridaFreedomFestival.com and check them out. They're putting on some sweet Liberty Hangouts down there. So yes, I know, alligators and, wet heat and being in the Wang of America is not the most ideal all the time, but lots of Liberty peeps, lots of fun hangouts, swimming and family activities, stuff like that. Check them out. FloridaFreedomFestival.com and be cooler than your friends. All right, let's do this. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the least comfortable show on the web. It is The System is Down, where we talk about all the uncomfortable topics like conspiracies, politics, religion, and the news. And, you know, when the former president of the United States, gets his home raided by the FBI, and a bunch of conservatives start calling for the abolishing of the FBI. There's lots of stuff going on, but we're gonna do all that. We're gonna get in deep. But before we do, go tell a friend about this. On Monday, I said go tell a friend about the show, and a couple of you did, and we only had a couple people in here still. So I don't know what happened. Actually, I do. I set it to unlisted. That usually doesn't help the flow of traffic, but hey, you're always an amateur until you have somebody running this stuff for you. But go now. We're going to play the intro. We're going to do the stuff like we always do every Wednesday. And then we're going to roast some news. So tell somebody. Let's get weird.
All I ask is, if we have to give these bastards our lives, we give them hell before we do!
The tragedy of our day is the climate of fear in which we live.
Talking about the Salomon Brothers building collapsing.
But ask the congressman to withdraw that comment and tell us that he didn't really mean that.
Half of support is what I call activist support.
I don't know what I said. I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
The Bible commands certain people be put to death.
Thieves or possesses weapons of mass destruction. 9/11 attacks were carried out by Al-Qaeda.
Handle the truth.
I remember that with that smoke. We are still here!
We have to say yes to socialism.
Let you know tomorrow.
It's a big club, and you ain't in it.
Oh, shit. All right. What's up, guys? Welcome to the show. I know we're a little bit late, but you got an episode on Monday, so quit your bitching. All right. So this is the version of the show that is most common these days, where we just look at the world, we watch it burn, and we have a good laugh at it together. But before we get into anything, before we go any further, kill the music. I have to remind you guys about something very, very important and near and dear to my heart, and it's you guys in the Downers Club, my favorite sponsors like Silas Lane, Jason Brunson, Dave versus Goliath, whoever that is, Donald Villa, Lee something, Tom, Patrick, Alex, trying to hit some new ones, Keith Compston, Representation Zero, Stephen Hartman, Craig DeCosta, Derek Evans, Howie Snowden, Trenton Campbell, Mary Rome, William Wells, lots of other people. I think I probably said William Wells more than anybody because his name, these are all in alphabetical. No, actually, I don't think they're in alphabetical order. I don't know. Whatever, you can check. But his name's always at the end, so I always end up hitting his last as the period on the Kamala Harris word salad sentence. That is you guys' made-up names. If you want to get your name on that list and possibly have it read incorrectly, go on over to patreon.com/The System Is Down and sign up for the Downers Club right now. Let me put that link in the comments because people keep telling me I should put it in the comments. Patreon.com/The System Is Down. Pretty simple. It's the name of a corrupt organization and the name of, and then a slash, and then the name of my show. So go check that out. Join the Downers Club today, and you will be supporting this show because you're not able to give super chats or anything on here because YouTube hates us, Facebook hates us, lots of companies and platforms hate us, but for some reason Patreon has still allowed us to remain. So we will remain for the time being at patreon.com/The System Is Down. What will you get, though, you ask? Thank you for asking. You will get a bunch of bonus content, more weird, more raw, more offensive. You will get the after party that happens typically every Wednesday, and it will be happening today, and we've got lots of stuff to talk about in the after party, so if you want to be a part of that, you can tune into the live stream for as little as $1 a month. If you want the entire back catalog of everything, it's only $5 a month, the cost of one super chat, basically. So, again, quit your bitching. Patreon.com/The System Is Down. All right. Now, we've also got a bunch of shirts and stuff in the shirt store at thesystemsdown.tv. I never talk about these things. I know I should. But find all the stuff at thesystemsdown.tv. You can contact me and do all the things through there. You can also call into the show at 309-716-3818 and leave a voicemail. These are things that I always forget to tell you about. So while they're on my mind, I'm telling you. So, the news. There's news today, and I don't like to do the news by myself. I will if I must, but whenever I possibly can, I get a guest. And whenever I can't get a guest host, I contact the one and only Dave Casey of Dave versus Goliath.
What is up?
Dave, my brother, how are you?
I'm doing great, man. Appreciate the invite once again. Good to be here.
Absolutely. How have you been? It's been, I don't know, about a month since you've been on. What's new in Dave's world?
Man, I'm banned from live streaming on Facebook for 2 months. That's their new thing.
You're still live streaming on Facebook?
Bro, where do you live stream? I don't know.
Just YouTube.
I can't do it on Twitter anymore. Yeah, right. Yeah. I don't have the fan base that'll just
well, live streaming on Facebook, I'm pretty sure, is what got me the entire axe of everything on my Facebook. So I'm not really planning on live streaming there anytime soon.
They're getting me retroactively, dude. They zapped me for a year-old Hunter Biden meme. It was of him sitting on the couch with one hand holding his laptop, the other holding his cock and balls. And then
as he does,
he was sitting exactly. He was sitting on a floral print couch, and then the next picture was Jill Biden wearing a dress with the same floral print pattern. And it was just hilarious. But it took him a year to get me. But 60 days without streaming. So I'll be back.
It was so outrageous and offensive, this image that you posted. It was so outrageous that it took them 1 year. It's funny because like them removing it brings attention to it. If they left it there, nobody's going back and digging through a year ago on Dave's page but they're like, oh, that's dangerous all of a sudden, so got to get rid of you.
That's right. International criminal, pedophile, Hunter Biden, drug addict.
Yeah.
Dave can't share a photo of him. No.
That's right. Now, anything else? Anything else going on in Dave's world? Just living the summer
real
dreams.
life is good. Yeah. Wheelie's going great. Having the time of my life. I love summertime.
Right on. Well, theoretically, this will be a shorter episode. Wink, wink. So we've got a lot to talk about, though, and I do always like to start off with good news. And the good news of today, actually, no. Yeah, the good news. Yes, the good news is that we're going to be safer, much safer in the future that we are currently going to be inheriting. And the reason we're going to be safer is because the UN just declared war on dangerous conspiracy theories. The world is not secretly manipulated by global elite. And we know that because the global elite told us that they're not there. They're like, hey, you see this picture? You never saw it. This isn't
global
here.
elite investigates itself, finds that global elite does nothing wrong.
Yeah, like, it's just amazing. Like, what do you mean? Like, just the words global elite, would that not describe a collection of, higher ups from different nations across the globe that are coming together for a global unification plan? Like, what is the global elite if not that?
Yeah. Yeah, and I just saw that the UN had a casual like meeting with the World Economic Forum that just like further solidified their alliance. It was like great, like the nations of the world and the corporations of the world are united,
right,
in fucking the people of the world.
That's right. We finally found something we can rally around and unite. There's nothing more bipartisan than silencing truth. It seems like.
Mm-hmm.
So the United Nations has declared war on conspiracy theories, describing the rise of conspiracy thinking as, quote, worrying and dangerous, and providing the public with a toolkit to, new made-up word that I really enjoy, pre-bunk. We're pre-bunking these.
That's great.
Pre-bunk and debunk anybody who dares to suggest that world governments are anything but completely honest, upstanding, and transparent. Now, obviously, this article has a slant to it, but I'm fine with that because they're right. They're correct in their bias. If the powers that be are telling you that the powers that be do not exist, not only does that prove their existence, it proves that they're up to some shady shit and some stuff's going to go down. So maybe we should, pre-bunk their theories on whatever, on brainwashing us into believing that they're non-existent. Dave, do you got any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, the UN is the epicenter for the global empire. They're the ones, that's the 2030 plan. This is evil incarnate. So yeah, this is an ultimate, they love to do this. They love to just keep it super obvious and like put the truth like right in your face.
Yeah. We've pointed out before, like on Twitter, it's always like the top trend is like, this conspiracy theory going around is incorrect. Fact checkers have proven. It's like, well, I hadn't even heard about that conspiracy theory until you put it as the trending topic and told me not to look at it. So guess what I'm doing next?
And there's such a push for that. Like Obama's nonprofit, like that he runs, that's their main focus is tackling the global epidemic of misinformation. It's so Orwellian. It's like, it's incredible.
Yeah, and they're pushing hard. I don't know if you've heard of this guy who has been under fire lately. His name's Alex Jones. He's been labeled by some as a crazy conspiracy theorist. So dangerous, terrorist, obviously. Mm-hmm. So Alex Jones, we all know, was under fire for the last 8 years, being pressured on this case about a certain school issue that happened. Handy Shook, I'm pretty sure is the name of it. Rhymes with that at least, but that case finally came to a close, and now we have people like Yahoo News saying, will the Alex Jones verdict tame conspiracy culture? I don't think so. What do you think, Dave?
I can only speak from my personal experience, but I was ready to kind of write Alex Jones off with the whole Trump phenomenon and him just going that route after 15 years of keeping it fairly real. But no, the rubber band effect is that like I'm the world's biggest Alex Jones advocate right now. Like regardless of what each individual policy, it has nothing.
Yeah.
Reed and I were talking about this the other day. It's like this guy is I think this is going around too, the canary in the coal mine. Like in 2018 when they took him down, colluded all the social media platforms to take him down. Nobody gave a shit. And now, like, look what I'm dealing with, and Reed's dealing with, and Josh is dealing with. Like, we're all dealing with it. You on Facebook and everything. Like, that was the guy who kind of set the tone for the next couple of years.
Yeah.
And now the new precedent that's been set with this man, that you can say really grotesque things about somebody or a situation, and you might have to pay out because of like it's always the precedent that I look at. So yeah, I really don't care about the craziest things that he's ever said. I still think, and I mean this, take everything he's ever said. He's more reliable than anyone on cable news.
Yeah.
Any one of them, Tucker included, anybody at CNN. I would take Alex Jones over any one of those guys.
I absolutely agree with you. And I'm still like, I don't know, 7D chess conspiracy brain, like in the back of my mind a little bit, where I'm like, I still don't trust this guy. Like what if he's part of it? Like what if this is just to make an example out of him, to make him into the canary in the coal mine? Like things like this, like, will the Alex Jones verdict tame conspiracy culture? I think, yeah, like in some ways, some people are going to be like, okay, I guess I'm going to back off of this because this is just too much of a hot, like, I think more people will dig into it, but fewer people will be comfortable talking about it in public or starting shows and stuff like that dig into these types of things because of this. So yes, he's been correct more than any other journalist that I've ever seen or witnessed. But at the same time, it's like, if he were, just hypothetically, not saying it's true, but if he were a controlled opposition or something like that to get us all to seem like Alex Jones is, then it's still serving that purpose. Maybe Bill Hicks just wants to retire or something, and he's like, hey, let's pretend like, pretend like I had to pay out more money than I had, $49.3 million. Holy shit. And then just he can retire, and then scares a bunch of people off to the sidelines, and, life goes on. And am I crazy?
I mean, no, dude, absolutely not. And I'm always there too. 7D chess. And if he was attached to the military industrial complex in any way to like be this character, which I fully accept as a real possibility, going back to the 90s, early 2000s, then this could obviously be part of it. Like they say, like, this is like well known. Like, even if you quit the CIA, like, you don't leave the agency. You're not like done work. For them. Like, you're always in it. You'll always maybe have some kind of side work or some kind of obligation or loyalty or whatever.
Or at the very least, you are working to keep your mouth shut about everything, or you're going to die. So
exactly. And why couldn't he have, a nice 25-year career in disinformation campaigns, working for some intelligence agency? That could absolutely be possible.
Yeah.
He's really good at it, if that's the case.
Yeah.
And I'll accept a limited hangout because I still have learned some stuff, and I still,
absolutely
agree with some of the things he said. But yeah, absolutely a possibility, bro.
And again, I don't necessarily believe that 100% either. Like, I hold everything in two camps. One, like, what is the most like logical, most obvious explanation, or what's the more surfacey explanation, which is that that what the mainstream media is reporting on. I believe that, but I also believe that there's a possibility that, this is all a sham. Same with Trump, which we're going to talk about Trump more later. It's like, he's getting raided, but I don't know. Like, is this, these people are friends. These people hang. Is this
so
just more
man.
showboating?
I love to think that I have like my thumb on the pulse of what's happening, but no, that still gets me. Alex Jones, still not sure. Trump, not sure. Hero or menace?
Right.
I'm still not sure.
But we'll get to that more later. $45.2 million because he, said that some things didn't happen that allegedly did happen. If you guys don't know about the case all that much, because I know it's hard to find information on it, you can find out why certain people believe the way that Alex Jones used to, quote unquote, by going to episode 136 of The System is Down, that you can not find in too many places, but you can look it up. Just look up episode 136 with Wolfgang Halbig. And it's a great episode that is not on YouTube. So might just have to be audio version, but that one got pulled real quick a couple years ago on YouTube. But Yeah, either way, even if everything is what they say it is, $45.2 million because a guy said some things that were infactual seems a little bit steep to me. Is there any way that you can justify that amount of money for the emotional damage that these people have suffered from him saying that didn't happen, Dave?
Dude, I'm such a free speech absolutist that if he knowingly lied and just said, nah, it's an inside job, nah,
Right.
it's actors, nah, I'd still go, well, fucking people lie all the time. Lying is not illegal.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm sorry that's mean. I'm sorry that these people are going through some stress over this, the stories later. I'm sure the actual incident is the worst part, right? It's not what some guy said
You would
about it
think
on a
so.
radio show.
But they seem less angry about that at this point than they are at Alex Jones.
Yeah.
I'm not speaking for, I don't know what the parents think. I haven't heard from the parents or dug into this in a long time. But, I don't know. It seems like, at best, a money grab and much less of a compensation of losses or emotional damage or whatever, especially when they have quotes like this. Quote, I ask that with your verdict, you not only take Alex Jones's platform that he talks about away. I ask that you make sure that he can't rebuild the platform. That's what matters, lawyer Wesley Ball said. That is punishment. That is deterrence. They don't care. They want all that money, but this is really what they care about. They care about silencing this man forever and ever. Amen. And
yeah.
I didn't think that was something that a judge could, impose on somebody, but I don't.
That judge is a literal potbelly goblin, vampire potbelly goblin.
Yes.
It's awful, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. It's great. This is I don't know, not only is this flagrantly just trying to censor somebody for the rest of his life, it's not subtle even. He's saying, I want to censor this man's words for the rest of his life and make sure nobody can hear what he has to say. Not only is
Right.
that a flagrant, violation of the First Amendment, but it's also, what was I going to say? It's a flagrant censorship of the First Amendment, because I don't remember the other point I was going to make, but we'll see if I think about it.
Bro, what about the precedent that's been set here? So that's what I keep going back to, the precedent.
Yeah.
Isn't I feel like Meghan McCain could sue the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire for that John McCain tweet.
Yeah.
About the tumor in the head doing more than whatever. Couldn't she say
fully factual statement?
Yeah, they put out a public thing. They publicly put this out. They're tormenting me and they're putting me through this mental anguish because of these mean words, and I want $1 million.
Right.
I feel like that's where we're at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember what I was going to say. Not only is this flagrant, blatant censorship attempt, it's something that Alex Jones has denied and apologized for the last 8 years. This has been going on for 8 years, that he's been saying, no, I take that back. Sorry. I was wrong about that. Sorry. And I don't know if he believes what he's saying now or whatever, but it doesn't really matter. It's you didn't want him to say the thing. He stopped saying the thing. He backpedaled on the thing, which I don't have a whole lot of respect for unless he was proven. I don't know. I would have to dig more into it to know. But I think most likely he's just backpedaling because he knew that this is what was coming down the pike. And 8 years, though, that's what apologizing gets you. 8 years later, he's got to pay $45 million for something that he has denied vehemently over the last 8 years. So,
$45 million.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, and I'm not hating on anybody who gets rich selling anything that people want, but that is crazy that he's worth the kind of from fucking bone broth, dude, and brain sauce, whatever.
Well, supposedly he's not. Supposedly he doesn't have that much. Some people are saying, oh, he's got way more than that, and he's hiding it so that he doesn't have to pay out or whatever. But there's some discrepancy of whether or not he's even going to be able to pay this amount. I don't know. I mean, he's got a big enough platform. I would imagine he's got some money to throw around with it's not just the supplements. He's got advertisers, and he's got, I'm sure, side hustles and things going on. And he's running the biggest counterculture news organization in the country at the moment. I don't know. He's got money. I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if he had well more than what he's saying and plenty to pay this, but it's kind of neither here nor there because it's still a bullshit amount that they're charging him anyway.
Yeah, and to be clear, they shouldn't be able to charge him any amount, not
Right.
$1,000 or $50 million. You
Or
shouldn't
two.
be able to. Yeah,
Yeah.
No dollars for saying mean words.
I don't know. What about like I mean, there's a part of me that's like, he did kind like, the argument could be made, and I'm not necessarily making it, but the argument could be made.
Give me the devil's advocate.
He's like he's encouraging, thousands and thousands of his followers to go harass these people and dig into their whatever, like harass them outside their house and stuff like that. Do you think that there should be any, I don't know, any repercussions for encouraging, it's not technically violence, but it is encouraging people to go, harass people that have, by the story, they have just lost a loved one, and then do that for many years? Do you think there's anything to that?
So, I mean, if he incited a riot, that's what they tried to get Trump with, right? If that's what he did, then let's hear the lines that incited the riot. If he just was on his talk show for 7 hours a day going, I don't know, this guy seems like an actor over here, false flag.
What if he said things like, if you see these people out in public, like Maxine Waters, what if he did that? If you see them out in public, you get in their face and you ask them questions and you make them answer them. Is there anything wrong with that?
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. Yeah, I'm okay with Alex Stein going after that Vice reporter like he did.
What if you lost a kid in a school shooting, and then
it's
a guy
more
spent years telling people to go harass you in public about your dead kid?
Then it's more distasteful and grotesque, and I wouldn't encourage it. But you shouldn't have to. You know what I'm saying? Like it's gross, but it's also
do it.
Yeah, don't do that. Again, it's like the difference between being able to like say, I think you should be able to do heroin and do heroin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on. So we're gonna move on from there. I mean, again, I hold so many different views on Alex Jones just as a person, let alone this particular case, let alone the outcome of this case and that type of thing. So I don't know, but I don't trust any of these people. Now, in other good news today, I think Bitcoin is about to get a bit of a bump because they're getting some nice investors on board as BlackRock partners with Coinbase to offer Bitcoin access to institutional investors despite market downturn. What could possibly go wrong here, Dave?
That's right. You know what Bitcoin needs? It needs a little bit of centralization.
That's right. Just way too free, that Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't dig into this one that much. Do you know anything about this particular case?
It's the first I'm hearing of it. No.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So BlackRock Inc., the world's largest asset manager, is partnering with Coinbase Global Inc. To offer direct access to Bitcoin to some institutional clients, common clients of Coinbase, Coin7, whatever, blah blah blah, investment management platform. I don't know. I don't understand half these words because I'm dumb. Quote, our institutional clients are increasingly interested in gaining exposure to digital asset markets and are focused on how to efficiently manage the operational life cycle of these assets. Joseph Shalom Global, I don't know. Whatever. So with this, it's like, of course, the argument I would imagine from the Bitcoin community would be, well, yeah, that's Coinbase, and we don't trust Coinbase because they've grown into a big conglomeration, but that doesn't mean that Bitcoin is corrupt. But what is stopping BlackRock from going around and picking up every single possible Bitcoin exchange, program that they can, and just turning this into Blackcoin or what have you?
Dude, you're dead on. And as the resident old guy here, back in the day, there was you had the Macintosh and Microsoft, and you also had Linux.
Yeah.
Like all the Bitcoin guys now are like the Linux guys.
Right.
The Linux guys back in the day were saying, this is the way, fuck these other guys and their corporate, whatever, their simple shit over here that's just for consumer shit. This is the way to do it. You can build your own computers. This is decentralized. We can all have our own, customized to your own likings. But Microsoft comes in and goes, all you have to do is hit on, beep, bop, boop. Or like the iPhone, just turn it on and go. Like anybody can do it. Any boomer can operate an iPhone.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, dude, it's like Napster too, right? It's the Wild Wild West for a little bit. YouTube, Wild Wild West for a little bit. And then these mega corporations. And Coinbase is a great example. That's a fucking tool of the World Economic Forum. They're already in bed with those guys. It's, So that's what that reminds me of. Like, yeah, we're going to use all these people, get people acclimated with the way that it works, and then we're going to offer up Bitcoin's evil twin. That's a centralized version of it, and that everybody will
And it'll
use
be easier
because
to
it's
use.
promoted.
Yeah.
It'll be widely promoted, easier to use, more accepted. Amazon will take it. Walmart, all the stores that are still existing in the 2030 America. Right. So yeah, that's what I'd say.
So do you think that this will have impact on the future of Bitcoin, or how, viable of a currency that will be going forward?
This is another one of those things where I'm still like Alex Jones and Trump. I just don't know what the end of this is going to look like. Like it could be either one. And I don't know enough about it. And Alex Jones, man, has always been saying, the one world currency to unite them all. It seems like that's what they want.
Yeah.
They want to centralize. We want to decentralize. That's the ever ebb and flow. And I think that, why would they not be pushing this? Why would they not be working on this 100 times harder than we are, 1,000,000 times harder?
It's really the curse of conspiracy-minded people. It's like, at what point do you trust anybody? like the more you dig, the less you trust people. And so it's like, well, I don't trust the mainstream media, so I'm going to listen to Alex Jones or Tucker Carlson. Then it goes to, well, I don't trust Tucker Carlson because he said this. Now I'm going to listen to Alex Jones. Well, Alex Jones has this problem. And so you end up with, I don't know. You don't trust anybody, and you don't trust any corporations or anything. But maybe that's just the way it should be.
I think so. That's closer to what it should be. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And speaking of people that we don't trust, have you, Dave, heard of this guy named Jack Casey? Today's show is sponsored by libertarian conspiratorial fantasy author Jack Casey. Whether you're looking for a 3-book fantasy sci-fi epic of love, death, and dystopian civil war like the Royal Green series, or just looking for a quick, dark, comedic cultural commentary tale about a transsexual slayer of COVID regime vampires, like his latest book, WVW, Jack Casey books will keep you adequately entertained and pondering the universe to your weird little heart's content. He's the Ayn Rand meets Stephanie Meyer meets somebody who actually writes entertaining books with his own unique little downer-esque flair. Find out more about Jack Casey books at the aptly named jackcaseybooks.com. Once again, that is jackcaseybooks.com. Today's episode is sponsored by Astero's Cybersecurity Services. These days, organizations of all sizes are targets for cyber criminals, disgruntled employees, or even nation-state attackers. Astero's performs cybersecurity services providing expert guidance to help organizations defend against threats and protect their data. Astero specializes in penetration testing, where they perform ethical hacking on networks, web apps, or organizations as a whole to simulate what an attacker would do and plug the discovered holes before anyone malicious finds and exploits them. Asteros also specializes in vulnerability management, security awareness training, phishing simulations, cloud security audits, compliance readiness assessments, and much more. As technology expands, it becomes easier and easier to run a business, but if your security is not growing along with your company, then you're going to run into problems. If you don't personally have a company of your own, definitely pass this information along to someone who does, because for a limited time, Asteros is offering companies an attack surface audit completely free. Let Asteros discover potential entry points to your network and how susceptible your company or organization is to cyber attacks. To learn more and to take advantage of this essential offer, just go to asteros.com/free. That's Asteros, ASTEROS.com/free. Shannon said, "Poor Jack, he's so misunderstood. He should really write Smott's new novel." Jack Casey is writing a new novel, and it's going to come out allegedly on 9/11, actually. WVW2 is coming out on 9/11.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, Jack's a good guy. He's a little simple, but speaking of simple, this brings us to this week of remembering Biden.
And Corn Pop was a bigger big shot. Nazi fags. You ain't black.
What a stupid son of a bitch.
That's right.
Fucking great. It's so good.
I get some every time. This week, remembering Biden. This is the segment where we talk about Biden and we remember all of the beautiful moments that he had during his presidency, because God knows he doesn't remember a single damn one of them. But this week in remembering Biden, there's a couple things, and we'll start with Biden signed his second executive order to protect abortion, the most important things in life. And it's not so much what the executive order was about that I take interest in. It's just the way it was presented. Did you happen to see this clip, Dave? Or is this?
I did not.
YouTube?
Did not catch this.
All right, let's watch.
I created this task force by executive order last month to ensure that every part of the federal government does its part at this critical moment where women's health and lives are on the line amidst chaos and uncertainty unleashed by this decision. Emergency medical care being denied to women experiencing miscarriages. Doctors uncertain about what they can do to provide for the patients. Pharmacists unsure whether they can fill prescriptions that they've always filled before. A tragic case of rape survivors, including a 10-year-old girl forced to travel to another state for care. Wiping out the right to choose on whether you have incest, incest, or having a rape, or this is just
having an incest, having a rape.
He just corrected himself incorrectly.
Fuck, dude.
I mean, maybe that's, I don't know, a Freudian slip of some sort there, but he's like, being able to choose whether you have rape or incest, abortion, incest or rape. So you corrected it and took out the abortion part, which means you're talking about whether or not people can choose to have rape and incest. And I don't know. Any thoughts, Dave?
Well, as a Delawarean, I can tell you that this is a sick family. So if he's got some demons,
people all across the country agree with you. It doesn't take locality for that.
No, it's true. You can literally go to the geographic locations where they've committed their crimes right around here.
Right.
So,
yep.
Yeah. Gross people.
Yeah, I didn't see anybody else talking about that little slip there. I thought it was quite an interesting one.
Haven't even heard of that, dude.
Yeah, everybody's talking about abortion and stuff and whether or not that should be legal. I don't care. I care about, I, like Joe Biden, care about whether or not it is legal to rape and incest.
Right.
But
he's signing. That's why he's getting this important legislation out.
Yes, our esteemed President Joseph Robinette Biden also had this going on this week. It doesn't matter. Again, it doesn't matter what Chuck Schumer's talking about. It doesn't matter what they're talking about. What matters is what happens next. Shakes Joe Biden's hand. Watch Joe. He's lost.
Now our great speaker,
Did you catch that?
Yeah, dude. Oh,
so
poor guy.
For the audio listener, Joe, we'll watch the replay. Shakes Joe Biden's hand. Shakes other guy's hand, and Joe Biden's like, wait, why didn't you shake my hand? This inconsiderate bastard. It took him one handshake. He was one handshake away from having his hand shook that he forgot that his hand was already shook.
The president should get two handshakes. You start and you finish. Come on, man.
Where's my other handshake? You're supposed to be like bookends. Shake my hand first, shake my hand last. What the hell?
That's it.
Don't you get it? All right. Yeah, I'm sure there was plenty of more important things to talk about Biden on this week, but I don't care. Dave, I don't know if you've heard, but as of Reed Coverdale coming on the show, he convinced me, and I am persuaded that we need to be pushing hard for Joe Biden 2024. Make these people own this shit. Make them prop him up for another year. Watch them squirm as they have a corpse in the White House. Do you agree?
I absolutely agree, and I hate that probably most of this responsibility would fall on you, but immediately I was just thinking about the beautiful ads that you could create that would mock the entire system. But I'll put that on you, buddy.
Oh, my God.
I'm down to help. You reach out whenever you need anything.
Thank you. I hadn't even thought about that. I will absolutely, if I have time, if I'm not too busy with actual political ads, I would love to make ads promoting Joe Biden 2024. Joe Biden. Right. Whether he's alive at that point or not, just put him out. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of, I don't know, great ideas? I don't know. This one is of zero relevance because it's about Kamala Harris's husband. Do you know who you're familiar. You know his name, right?
I know he's Caucasian and he deals in finance. That's what I know.
That's more than I knew. It's more than most people knew. It's definitely more than these kids knew because this week, this comes from 19th News on Twitter. It says, on the second day of camp. Okay, so the actual headline. No, it's not read my thing. Let me find the headline. Okay, this might be the headline. It says, on the second day of camp at Tools and Tiaras, 15 girls learning to rivet sheet metal had a special guest. They may not have known him by name, but they definitely knew who he was married to. What an introduction that is. Hey, kids, I've got a special guest for you. You have no fucking clue who he is. But don't worry, because he's married.
I tell you, you won't care.
Right. But don't worry, because he's married to somebody that you probably don't give two shits about either. Yeah, this guy, whose name I don't even remember, even though I read this stuff earlier. Whatever. Yeah, he went and visited these kids. Let's see. Joined.
This is funny. This is like what they make first ladies and second ladies do.
Right.
It's like this kind of bullshit work, but they send this schmo around. That's fucking great.
Right. Like as I don't want to say it would be degrading to be the. I mean, you're not even like the first lord or lad or whatever they would call, the husband of a president.
I think it's first man.
Would it be first man for the vice president though?
Oh yeah, second man.
Second man, like
I think that's what his title is.
Whatever. I mean, yay, go women, breaking that glass ceiling. But this guy, I don't know. It's like, so I don't really care about any of this. He went and visited some people, and my headline is it's like Make a Wish, but you ordered off Wish.com. It's like if Kamala Harris showed up, these kids probably still wouldn't have cared. Imagine their surprise when in walks somebody they've never heard of. Right. Kamala Harris's brother Steve. Right. Yay. I don't know. I got a chuckle out of that. I don't know.
That's great.
So the thing that we are actually going to talk about today is the main article, and you all know that Trump got raided by the FBI this week. 2 days ago, I think. Trump FBI raid, agent sees Mar-a-Lago documents in unprecedented move. I would say it's quite unprecedented in the case that it's, never happened before ever in the history of the country. Yeah, it's a little bit unprecedented, and that might be a bit of an understatement. Dave, you got any thoughts on this before we get into it?
Yeah, again, I'm in 7D mode. Like, is this the tell that it's never happened to a president before? So they're doing a thing? Like, as they're trying to pulverize the last bit of civilization and drop the West, as they raise everybody else up and equality across the globe and the corporate takeover and all that, is that just part of this? You have to, fully destroy all faith in all the institutions. I don't know if you've heard Monica Perez talk about this, dude, but, she talks about the Bill of Rights as, she calls it, I think, the thin parchment line.
Yeah.
It's fine if you want to have intellectual arguments. Oh, was Spooner right? Should we even start at that? It's fine. Okay, that's cool. But right now, in the very end of, when we're really up against the wall, do you want to get rid of that or do you want to keep it and use it?
Right.
And I think the answer is definitely keep it and use it. And that's pretty much all we have is the legal protections. All these people are fucking demonic lawyers speaking legalese, right? Sounds like English. So that's the battleground, man. Yeah,
absolutely. Now, in completely unrelated news, I just want to take a quick side tangent and read about the impeachment inquiry against Donald Trump from Wikipedia, just to see if anything stands out when I read this first paragraph. The inquiry process, which preceded the first impeachment of Donald Trump, 45th President of the United States, was initiated by House Speaker Nancy Pelosi on September 24th, 2019, after a whistleblower alleged that Donald Trump may have abused the power of the presidency. Trump was accused of withholding military aid as a means of pressuring newly elected president of Ukraine, perhaps you've heard of him, Volodymyr Zelensky, to pursue investigations of Joe Biden and his son Hunter, and to investigate a conspiracy theory that Ukraine, not Russia, was behind interference in the 2016 presidential election. More than a week after Trump had put a hold on the previously approved aid, he made these requests in a July 25th phone call with a Ukrainian president, which the whistleblower said was intended to help Trump's re-election bid. Now, anything stand out in that to you, Dave? Anything seem strange?
Well, this kind of, when I hear stuff like that, this makes me think Trump is the good guy, and that they are actually going after Trump.
Yeah, I have the controlled opposition Trump in the back of my brain. I do think that there's probably a little bit of truth to that. But I'm mostly asking, like, on surface level, anything seems strange about, Trump being impeached for investigating a presidential, like a what they called an opponent, presidential opponent,
right?
Which was, I'm pretty sure it was like a year and like 2 or 3 months before Joe Biden announced that he was running for president, and Trump got impeached for that. Do you think that there's any relation to that and what's going on right now?
Yes, I do. Yes, this is the Biden crime family, which again I'm kind of a little bit embarrassed because it's Delaware, but it's a much bigger operation than I had thought. I wasn't really comparing them to the Bushes and Clintons, but I think the Biden, he's trying to be a billionaire Biden.
Yeah,
and this is a long time coming, and we know from the Epstein stuff that these MFers trade in blackmail. Biden can be trusted, I guess is the word, to do the bidding of the worst people on the planet and do it with a crooked smile.
Yeah.
His son is absolutely involved deeply. I mean, he's a national security threat. I mean, yeah. And so that's what they do, man. This is like, again, another common theme is they do that double speak, right? John Podesta will say, these people are talking with the Russians and these people are doing these things, when they're doing that absolute stuff themselves, or they're selling secrets. Or
he got impeached for investigating a political rival that wasn't even running for president yet. And Trump just got his home raided. What Trump was doing was asking, hey, seems like there's some shady business dealings going on with Joe Biden, which turns out, because we live in the future now, that's not a crazy conspiracy theory. That's actually absolutely true that did happen. And Trump was saying, hey, did this true thing happen? And he got impeached for it. Joe Biden, under Joe Biden's administration, raided Donald Trump's house, and from what I can tell, there isn't really any justification for it. They said he had some like private documents or some classified documents or what have you, which I don't know if that's technically illegal, but whatever. Did you think that they'll at least come back with, I don't know, the P tape or the N-word video that they talked about, Trump saying the N-word at one point, or maybe they'll find some Russian collusion? I don't know. Do you think they'll find anything in this, Dave?
I would say no. Just because he's always seemed, I'm just going by history, like he seems like he's a couple steps ahead. Like, just when it seems like, I thought that the fucking grab him by the pussy thing would, he's done now, dude. Like every time I'm just kind of blown away. It's a new world out there, and I don't know. I really think that the appetite that's growing and that's being fed to like anybody who's not on the sane side of the left right now, I think is going to be so like fever pitch by 2024. Like they are probably going to use some chaos to enact some order.
You think?
To big picture it. I think they're really they want his maybe craziest supporters to do some crazy stuff, kind of like 1-6, right? 1 million people show up and 400 assholes kind of are like out of line or whatever. Yeah. It doesn't take much to poke and prod.
Yeah, I think at best this is a gigantic distraction campaign to just to like put this guy through the ringer and make sure that he can't run at all costs. Like stop him from running at all costs. Keep him tied up in legal battles and shit. Like we just had the
so
January 6th. No, I don't think that either. No, I think that he can be a corrupt piece of shit and also be against, like, hypothetically, against the establishment worse people. I don't know if that's true, but I think it's a possibility that that is the case. I don't know if that made any sense, because Again, holding two different thoughts in my head, and I'm like, which version are we going with? But I do think the most probable, realistic case here is that that it is what it seems to be, not what they're saying it is, but what it seems to be, which is what Andrew Yang even said it was. Andrew Yang got some shit on Twitter because he came out and said, looks like this is a political move. Like, looks like this is not justified. Not only is it horrendously against how our society has worked forever. It is, it's political strategy, which is really bad precedents to set, I would say, in our culture. And
definitely agree with that.
possibly, like a lot of people have called it like the beginning of civil war here, like crossing the Rubicon or whatever, beginning of something, when you are not just like slandering your political opponents. We're way past mudslinging. We're talking about like raiding their homes and attempting to lock them up because midterms are coming up.
Right. Yeah, the empire's kind of starting to wear its force on its sleeve, like showing you a little bit, like exposing itself. You know, the FBI is like, yeah, you want to see a national police force? Check this out.
Right.
You know, like I do feel that way. ATF, the way they troll us on Twitter.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Yeah. So it's not just Joe Biden and the impeachment and all that stuff that is odd and like flagrantly doing the exact same thing that Donald Trump got impeached for, but worse, in my opinion, is what is happening here. But a bunch of people came out and they predictably and justifiably were saying, what about Hillary Clinton's emails? What about all that stuff that was covered up? And Hillary Clinton immediately started making money off of it because she put out this tweet. Every quote, but her emails, she's made a fashion line of but her emails. Every but her emails hat or shirt sold helps at Onward Together partners defend democracy, build a progressive bench, and fight for our values. You know, because I said so. That's how we're going to do it. You pay us money, we'll make things better. Like, even when she's not in any sort of political office, like such a politician-y way to say absolutely nothing other than give me money. Once you do that, once you buy your hat, once you allow me to grift off of, this overthrowing of our democracy, some might say, then everything will be better. Democracy will be good. Any thoughts on this evil potbelly goblin woman?
Yeah, dude, the vibe I get, and I don't know. I've been following this lady for a lot of years. She's one of the few that I'll just drop the C word, anytime, and it willy-nilly for her anytime. Yeah. But I think that there's an amazing thing that these guys can do, and it's not the right can do this as well as the left, but like she's really great at it, and this is a good example. Like her followers, which there are millions of people that think that she's great and was robbed and all this stuff. Fine. They see this and are like, strong, independent. Right. Look at her. She's still out there doing it. But to me, and I think Hillary Clinton knows this, like she is trolling the shit out of me. Like that smug ass face with the slogan on the hat that she knows is from the crime that what she's doing is saying, I'm top dog. Right. I'm the head bitch in charge. You can't get me. This whole, I see the past couple of days since the Trump stuff, they love to tweet, "No one is above the law."
Right.
And I think
while
Hillary
wearing
Clinton
a but her emails hat.
Right. That's like they don't see it, but I think Hillary knows that we see it, and she's just kind of like dog whistling to like look at you, fuck you guys.
Yeah, you got to kind of respect the troll level.
I was just
going
to say there's a little bit of like just head bitch in charge. You're right. 30 years still on top, motherfucker. Look.
Right. And by on top, you just mean like not on death row for all of her heinous atrocities that she's committed.
I mean, these
and bragging about it.
Like, moving all the cocaine in the world, killing dozens of people and not getting charged, taking over countries and shit. Yeah. Gangsta.
So her thing here is troll them by saying but her emails because she knows that that's what people will say. But the problem with that is but her emails. Like, it's a legitimate point that they're making when they say but her emails. Like, we're talking about Donald Trump having classified documents. She had classified documents. She had an entire server that she wasn't supposed to have. And then when they started investigating her, she smashed all the shit and whitewashed everything. Like, but her emails. Not only but her emails, not only is it equivalent, it's way, way worse than anything that we've seen out of this Donald Trump thing. Yeah. So it's saying,
she's the worst.
Yes, I'm even worse, and I'm here selling hats because of it. Like, whew. Wow.
She gives off serious, like, Kaiser Sose vibes. Like, the FBI is mine. Like, you know what I mean? I do what I
some sorcery. It's some like witchcraft right there. Like that's spell shit because people are buying that and they're wearing it and they're going, yeah, they're gonna say but her emails, and because I'm wearing a hat, that her emails, like I'd never read anything about them, but because they believe that she had some email shit, it's obviously not true. Just like that crazy Hunter Biden laptop story is obviously not true. Get Trump because he's bad and she's good. The end. Like that's right. the depth of most of these people's thoughts.
Vast right-wing conspiracy.
Right. And to be very clear, if Trump did something illegal, lock him up. I don't care. Lock him up. I know that he's not going to be locked up. I know that she's not going to be locked up. I know none of these people are going to be locked up. The only people that are going to be locked up is you. Is people that talk about this stuff. Is people that have are controversial or whatever, or people that, I don't know, don't follow these rules and regulations, or I don't know, somebody got a little bit of their taxes wrong, and the IRS now has armed guards of armed, I don't know, battalion of 80-something thousand new people to get your taxes. These people aren't going to be locked up. You are.
No.
They
are not coming after the Clinton criminal enterprise or the Trump one.
No.
If you make less than $45 a year, though, they'll probably come get you.
Yep. But yeah, as I mentioned, Andrew Yang spoke out about this stuff, and let me see. Let me find the actual tweet here, because I thought it was pretty good. If I can find it. So Yang said, I want him as far away from the White House as possible. I'm not a big fan of him being in the White House either, so I agree with you there. He goes on to say, but a fundamental part of his appeal has been that it's him against a corrupt government establishment. This raid strengthens that case for millions of Americans who will see this as unjust persecution. And that's the same going back to the Alex Jones thing. It's just self-fulfilling prophecy. It's like when David Koresh said Waco, Branch Davidians and all that, when David Koresh said, they're going to come and they're going to raid our house, and that's like the prophecy, like that's the end of days when they come and raid our house. And then the response to that is, raid their house? Like that doesn't make people stop doing the thing. That just solidifies their views. Like doing this is only boosting Trump's case that the establishment is working against him, which for me, I can take one of two ways. Yes, it is boosting the establishment against him or whatever, it's boosting his credibility amongst his fan base, which I think is a double-edged sword, because if he is corrupt, if he is, as I suspect, some sort of in on the system plant controlled opposition, yeah, it's QAnon times 12, because now we see the suffering that this poor martyr has gone through, and it's only going to make QAnon people all the more dig their heels in. I think that's bad. That's misdirection, and there's part of me that thinks that there's a possibility that's the entire point to this. Dave, any thoughts?
Yeah, big inside job. Yeah, man, I tend to think like that. Like the state has the advantage over us in that they already know the 20, 50, and 100-year plan. And then based on their plan, they probably know, they know how to poll the public, or they know how to at least gauge public opinion, right? They're propaganda masters.
Yeah.
So they know, I think they know how we're going to react based on the plans that they have. So like if they have the 2030 plan, it's like, okay, well, we know that America is going to react by doing X, Y, and Z if we want to do these things by 2030. So we better have armored tanks in the numbers of whatever in most major cities by then, because the reaction is going to be whatever, chaos. So like we got to set up the order in advance, kind of like have the turnkey tyranny, like ready to go. So that's what I think they're kind of doing, big picture.
Yeah, absolutely. Very possible.
And I think Trump's probably a part of that, like the guy who's supposed to manage over the kind of destruction of the American experience, kind of have that he's the last flag waver, dude.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, waving the flag is considered white supremacy because of Donald Trump. So, yeah, right. I mean, why not? Now, some other odd people that are coming to Trump's defense in this are people like Andrew Cuomo.
Yeah, I saw that.
Andrew Cuomo demands explanation for Trump Mar-a-Lago raid. Now, I feel like this seems pretty obvious.
Please don't come in my house.
Please do not start sicking the FBI on investigating political people of any kind, because I should have been raided 10 years ago, and I would prefer if you did not. So yes, I'm against it right now.
Yeah, that's probably dead on, balls accurate, bro.
Right. The guy who refused aid from Trump on the he refused, what was it, the offshore boats and stuff for COVID patients to go to or whatever, which I don't like the sound of that either. But Cuomo basically slaughtered, for what was it, several thousand grandmas and stuff by putting them in nursing homes with COVID patients and shit like that. Yeah. Now he's on Trump's team though, because focus on that. Look over there and please stop doing this. I don't have anything to hide, but I would prefer if you didn't look. Speaking of the complete downfall of society, and this, I don't know, I think this is the most troubling part about this. Are you familiar with the hashtag maggots? MAGA TS?
I think I've seen that once or twice.
Yeah, I had seen it, but I didn't really think about what it meant or anything. I didn't read it as maggots, which apparently that's what they're going for. I mean, moderately clever and highly, I don't know, dehumanizing and almost I feel like the right is more the type that are going to be fuck Joe Biden and y'all are snowflakes and don't be a pussy and stuff like that. But the left is calling these people degenerate lowlifes that are less than human. So I don't know. Does this remind you of anything that's happened in history that Gina Carano might have pointed out and got canceled for a year or two ago?
Ooh, I'm picking up what you're putting down. Yeah, dude, I think it was only a couple years ago the left was upset that somebody on the right, I think, was using the word vermin to describe, I can't even remember who they were describing, what group of people.
Yeah,
but
and I would not support that either. I think there's a line, and when you're saying these people are less than human, that's a slippery slope in my opinion.
This is a big part of the propaganda push of the past 20 to 25 years, and that's the dehumanization of the other. They used it for the Muslims and the war on terror, and now it's mirrored here, and it's just your neighbor and whoever's politically different than you, and
right.
Bad news bears.
And I'm not saying the right has much more tact than this. I've seen plenty of you're a fucking idiot or whatever. But name calling is one thing it's one thing to name call. I think that one thing is stupid, but this is a different extent in my opinion. This is calling somebody retarded is whatever, or calling somebody a moron. Hashtag MAGA morons is going around, but maggots, man, that to me, that just, I don't know. I don't support the MAGA movement. I support making America great at all. If we possibly could, probably means something different to me than most people. But I don't know. The one thing, I was scrolling through some of these yesterday, and it was depleting my hope for humanity because just the way these people talk about the MAGA movement as they're terrorists, they're Nazis, they're maggots, they're lowlives, they're less than human. If there was going to be something that radicalized people, it's not Trump. It's when you do this, when you keep calling them these things over and over and over again and making them the other, making them the outcast, making them into rage-filled little Trumpites. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think that they're going to hear you calling them maggots and go, oh, you made a great point. I think I'll vote for Biden this time. Or maybe I'll listen to your viewpoint. This is a bad precedent. And I do have if you have any thoughts on that, go ahead. But I do have a case that I want to point out here in a second.
Yeah, real quick. I just think that, yes, I can say this as somebody who would have at one point identified as a left progressive.
Yeah.
They do hate you and always have, at least as long as I've been around. They have had disdain for rural America, conservative culture.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that doesn't go both ways. I'm just saying that hatred of the other has been curated for a long time, multiple generations. Trump is taking that to a new level. I'm not saying he personally, just the phenomena around Trump has taken that to new spaces. Social media allows you to vocalize it The hate is growing, and yeah, this is scary, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. And no, forgot my point again. It's all good. I have more points here. No, you're fine. It was while you were talking, I thought of something, but it's gone. Perhaps it'll return when we talk about this. This is also on that. Like, this is what brought the whole MAGATs thing. This is when I actually realized what they were getting at, because I was like, MAGA TS? I don't know what that means. Like, it, as the left does, it's still pretty convoluted and hard to figure out what they're going for right off the bat, but I figured it out. And I was just going through the MAGATs hashtag and came across this, and I found it fascinating. This is from at Rabbi Harvey. He says, speaking as a Jewish scholar and as someone who has worked at Holocaust museums, taught Holocaust education, and interviewed many Holocaust survivors, no, a legal search warrant executed by the FBI, approved by the Justice Department, is not comparable to the Gestapo. Hashtag maggots.
Oh, man. They don't even see it.
You don't see any problem with that, sir? I did have a response. Let me see if I can find it. Let me switch over here. Let's see. Oh, yeah. I said, I bet much of the indoctrination started by calling the Jews things like maggots to convince people they were subhuman. And he said, in response to that, Trump supporters need no help from me to be dehumanized.
Oh, it's like, it's not me. They just are less than human.
Right. Holy shit.
Like, dude, they really, they hate you. If you eat at the Olive Garden, they hate you. If you stay at the Holiday Inn, they fucking hate you.
Yeah.
If you drive Ford, they hate you. You know what I mean? It's just like, and it's just so disgusting and so dangerous. There's so many of them.
Yeah. I quote tweeted that and said, a Jewish scholar who teaches about how the Holocaust happened says this: Trump supporters need no help from me to be dehumanized. Like, how do you teach that? How, like, whatever, like, how do you not see, as somebody who does this for a living, as somebody who for a living teaches people how this type of thing happens so that we can avoid it? It happens by dehumanizing somebody, and your response when somebody calls you out on dehumanizing people is they are less than human. It's like, my God, man, you are a Nazi. You're a Nazi. I'm sorry.
This is more doublespeak, though, because if you're fighting the Nazis, then you can't be the Nazi.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you're allowed, because of this existential threat, to suspend the rules.
Right.
That's what they are in that mental space.
Yeah. People like this will like fight for like animal rights and fight for maggots to lose all their humanity and rights.
Yep. And they shop at Whole Foods and they eat organic and they only have, whatever. Shop at the
arguably Whole Foods might be the worst part about them.
Right. Yeah. Vegan, triple vaxxed.
Yeah. I don't know. It's troubling to me. It doesn't fill me with joy. Like, I'm not a Trump supporter, and I will call MAGA people, I might call them names here or there, but this is next level, and it's frightening. But if you want to, like, I don't know, if there's any way to come back from that, it might bring you a little bit of solace knowing that some of these people might be, not the most intimidating folks in the world. This is from Denver Antifa, posted on their Facebook account, so it's legit. I was told that this was posted a while back, but it doesn't really matter. I'm sure it still holds true. It says, a few of us went to the mountains to train this afternoon, which you can stop right there. You guys went out to the mountains to train for how to handle riots and militias and overthrowing the government.
Come on, guys. Let's be honest here.
Right. Thankfully, they have tiny fists, so some of that stuff that they were doing out there in the wild probably wasn't as painful as it might sound. Fisting each other. That was a fisting joke that I'm making. Reading on, they say, we will be ready to punch any Nazi that stands in our way. Here we are, unmasked. What you going to do now? Hashtag punch Nazis, hashtag fight fascism, hashtag resist. And for the audio listener, just a beautiful display of Antifa right here, as like people who can barely raise their tiny fists. Like I posted this. I don't know if you can see it off to the side there. I just took a screenshot of it and zoomed in on this guy's chicken arm, and I mean, what else needs to be said there? Just a bunch of people going. Even if these were like big, like strong dudes that could totally fuck you up, like just starting it with a few of us went out to the mountains to train this afternoon, to train for fighting against fascists in the woods. Like, how'd you do that? Did you punch animals? Like, I really want to know. I want to see the behind the scenes of what that training looked like, except for the gay porn part, which I'm sure is 99% of it. Dave, any thoughts?
Who do you think's the worst one? Who do you think is the most pathetic?
Well, obviously, Mr. Bear T-shirt is the fearless leader. You can tell by the way he can't even be bothered to lift his fist up past his shoulder. I think the guy...
The one guy? Go ahead.
The guy on the left of him, our left, his right, he looks like he pre-broke his arm in anticipation for the inevitable. And
that's
the guy...
my pick. That's my pick. If you have your one limp wrist over here and you can't bring the other one over your head, it's like, bro, you guys get out of the woods.
Right.
And dude, I'm not talking shit. Like, I am not the manliest man. In fact, I
Sure.
probably have a physique similar to some of these dudes.
But you're not threatening to go punch people either.
No, and it's important to not be a fucking pussy. You guys are all pussies. You're weird and creepy and just the worst. Like, if you are born, whatever, short and pasty, like I am, you have to decide to be cool and be funny and be likable. Like, don't be a fucking douchebag.
Right.
It just angers me.
Especially like these people, like you read through the maggots thread and it's all like, oh, these people are saying that they're going to start a militia and look at them. They're just pussies. Like, and you've got this? Like, I mean, first of all, I feel like the glaring point that nobody's pointing out here is the extreme lack of diversity here. There's just a bunch of white men there.
Looks like a Cato conference up in here.
Yes. I mean, the closest thing they have to diversity is one of them is wearing a pink scarf, so they probably don't identify as a he. So that's good. Forward thinking. That'll help. Oh man, that's some stuff. Oh, Carlin's here, and she says the one in the scarf. I don't know. That might be the leader because they seem to be loud. I'll leave it at that. So moving on to more of this stuff, we got to talk about with this Mar-a-Lago case. I do think there's some bad, but I also think there's some good. We're going to talk about the good, but first, totally unrelated. Here's this. If it plays, it's not going to play. Come on. You don't do this to me right now.
You motherfucker.
You.
Thank God, I'll tell you that. Abortion's now illegal in this country. Hundreds of thousands of people dying without cause. They should be dying for a cause. They should be dying in a great American country, like Israel or Ukraine. We'll establish a new abortion task force. All men, can't trust women on this one. People who are skeptical about stopping abortion say, oh, it's so hard, not be able to do it. Did you pay attention during COVID? Because we learned a lot. Lockdowns, mass testing, daily inspections. If it saves one life, that's the bottom line. We've got this, okay? We're great at wars. We've won every war. We won the war in Afghanistan. We won the war on drugs. War on abortion's gonna be easy. It's babies, okay? Would I adopt a baby? No, I've got a lot going on with my career. I'd pray for them. Listen, the Bible is very clear. If Jesus was alive, he would own an AK-47 and would hold it in a pregnant woman's face for 8 months if he needed to, until that woman gave birth. It is disgusting that money is taken from Americans to hurt innocent people. That money could go to the police. If people need abortions, why do police officers' wives never need one? We need to be ready. We need to be mass producing speculums. So if you've got a vagina, once a week testing, you get pregnant, we'll send in Jesus with a shotgun and we'll make sure that baby gets out of you. Here's some other tools in the toolbox. Red flag laws. We see you posting on social media saying you're unhappy about your baby. We'll send the FBI in, collect every coat hanger from your house. The right to hang jackets is a human right, but assault coat hangers, metal coat hangers, we need to get these off the streets. Some people say there's not enough police to stop abortion. I say easy, send in the National Guard. Look, abortion is murder. You murder someone, death penalty. I care about life that much. It's called being a small government conservative. Plus, Kitty, if you ever need one, we can just fly to New York. I'm serious.
I wonder.
Fucking great, dude.
Thank you.
So good. So good.
Thank you.
Nobody's told you lately? Those are so
They
good.
haven't. Tell me more, Dave. Text me on a daily basis and tell me how you
I
really
will.
feel. I appreciate it.
I will encourage my friends.
Yeah. While we were watching that, I was thinking, like, for every Jeremy Kauffman campaign ad, no matter how short it is, like that video there, it's like 2 minutes long. We shot at least an hour of content for that. And I'm wondering if we should put out behind the scenes stuff or outtakes and stuff like that over in the Downers Club for people who
Dude,
are
you
interested.
definitely should. I personally am always one to squeeze the most out of all the content that I put out.
Like
So
Hillary
you should
Clinton.
definitely do that. Exactly. But dude, he is fucking. I know we're taking a slight detour. 10 seconds.
It's fine.
He is fucking amazing. He should be the new model for libertarians that want to run for office. They should try and hire you if they can get your time and they can afford you. And
if they're
you guys
down
are
for the
fucking
fun stuff,
crushing it.
I am down, and I will a little behind the scenes stuff here. I charge Jeremy Kauffman way less than I charge a lot of people because it's fun stuff.
he's
It's
good?
stuff that I would be doing even if it wasn't for an actual campaign. I would be
Right.
making this stuff intentionally.
So there's the
for free.
pitch. If you're out there and you're awesome, maybe he'll give you a discount because
you get a fun
you'll hire
discount.
Dan.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The more fun it
Be
is, the less I charge. But yeah, if you want, let me know. If you want some outtakes, we got tons of outtakes. There's a lot of jokes that did not make the cut. Some of them are probably too offensive to have made the cut and might be too offensive to make it into the outtakes. But if you want the outtakes, let me know. Write me at dan@tsidpod.com, or you can send me snail mail at P.O. Box 84, Aledo, Illinois 61231. Just write down on a piece of paper, I do. Just write yes, ... outtakes, and mail it to me in the mail, and we'll see what we can do. But speaking of the cops and all that, we've got some silver linings to this Trump raid, which I think are kind of beautiful. A lot of conservatives now, as was mentioned earlier, a lot of conservatives now turning their back on some of the boys in blue, or at least the FBI. We have people like Jack Posobiec now saying, do not donate 1 cent to the RNC until they commit to FBI reform. Now, I would say yes, just change a couple things there, a couple edits for you in your writing, Mr. Jack. Take out reform and replace it with abolishment, and take out until. Yes, just take out until. Just don't donate to these people.
No one is coming for your Gestapo. We just want common sense Gestapo reform.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I think it's beautiful. Like, I'll take what I can get. If somebody like Jack Posobiec is finally able to realize that the FBI is what the libertarians have been saying for the last always, that the FBI is a corrupt organization. Oh, shit. I had that Ron Paul link that I was going to pull up. Ron Paul predicting this stuff back in like the 80s, saying we can't trust the FBI, and like it's going to be used to spy on citizens and fight political opponents and stuff like that. Prophecy, or just like common sense thinking, if you know how the FBI works, that Ron Paul said way back when he was running as a GOP candidate. By the way, GOP, you missed your shot.
Really,
I mean, I hope that you are regretting the hell out of it. I know you're not, because you're mostly retarded, but I hope that you are regretting it slightly. Dave, did you see the Libertarian Party's post about this?
I saw them post Ron Paul was right. I don't know, and I try and catch all their posts. Which one they were?
They posted one that was like it said like, yeah, the FBI is bad. Like, I'm not going to do it justice, but the FBI is bad. But even when they're not like rating your favorite war criminal or something like that. Yeah.
Yep.
Did you read any of the comments on that one? I read some this morning. It was quite entertaining.
Is it great?
Yeah, a lot of people coming in. They're like, oh, if this is how the Libertarian Party is going to be, then that's why I'm not a libertarian. Or like, this isn't it, guys. This isn't the messaging that you promised. This isn't going to bring in Republicans.
Are these conservatives that are pissed that we're like, I told you, or is
I
that...
mean, they don't think so, it sounds like, but yes.
Okay. Yes,
I went through several of them and just commented, did you think we were voting for your guy? Like,
right.
What do you think this is? Who was asking for more Republicans? We don't want more Republicans in the Libertarian Party. We want more libertarians in the Libertarian Party. We want more Republicans to realize that they're actually libertarians, like what happened to me. We want them to become libertarians on their way in. We don't want Republicans. We're not voting for Trump, okay? No matter how many times it gets rated, we're not voting for your guy. We're not for that.
Yeah. I'm with you, buddy.
Yeah.
They don't seem to still get it, but it's just, we ride the line, the philosophy, and then they always seem to try and pull us over. But
so I thought it was particularly beautiful because these people are coming in and saying things like that, and they're like, well, this is the messaging that's going to turn people away. And then you've got all these libertarians that are posting articles of like the atrocities that Trump committed in Yemen and all these different things that he did throughout his career in the White House and all that. It's like, maybe this could be a teachable moment. They're like, this is going to turn people away. Or it might educate them if they're actually smart enough to listen. If they're not smart enough to listen, they weren't going to anyway. So,
yeah, man. And I just hear that from so many people. Oh, this could turn people away. Oh, this could turn people off. Oh, if you say this. Dude, I don't know about you. I pretty much, I think I know what you would say. But I just could care less. Like we talked about it. You just have to lead with honesty.
Right.
That's it. And let the chips fall where they may. That's it. Anything else is central planning. Oh, I wonder what they might say if I say, fuck that.
Yep.
Like I don't know. I can't speak for you again. I'm too old for that shit.
Yeah.
That's not why I'm in the game. Oh, I wonder what they might say if I say this. Fuck you.
Who cares what they say? Who cares?
Yeah.
Like this is the thing that people were concerned about the Mises Caucus turning the Libertarian Party into once they carried out the takeover. They're like, oh, it's just going to be pandering to Trump supporters. Like, okay, well, do you think that that's what's happening? So I'm sure those people still think we're maggots or what have you, but the Trump supporters are really angry at the Libertarian Party for being principled and actually stating the truth that Trump, yes, you are correct. All of you commenters are absolutely correct that Trump was better on war than a bunch of blood-soaked war criminal pieces of shit that committed the most heinous atrocities known to man. Yeah, he's a little bit better than that. If that's your standard as a libertarian, then you're not. You're just not.
That's liberty harder.
Yeah.
Do better than that.
Yeah. So in addition to this, hashtag national divorce was trending yesterday. It was like at the top of the trends.
I know. Awesome, dude. It's
quite beautiful. And I know that there are some people like Scott Horton that aren't fans of the hashtag national divorce, or he's not a fan of the phrasing national divorce because it's too divisive. I don't want to put words in his mouth.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't hear that about Scott.
Yeah, I think he brought it up at a recent LNC meeting or something. And I've heard rumble, and I don't think it's an unfair point that it's not. It's kind of like the takeover language where it's like you're coming in abrasive and that's going to turn people off. Divorce doesn't have the most, flowery of connotations in history. Like divorce is typically bad. And if we're calling it divorce, then that sounds like we're doing a bad thing. But when it's like top trending on Twitter, maybe we should. Maybe we should say that thing because clearly we're not the only ones who feel this way if it's trending on Twitter. We are not the majority as libertarians.
Clickbait, good clickbait though. Like, right? Like, wouldn't you just? I don't know. I feel like lots of normies might click on that hashtag.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? What would that look like? I could never even imagine that.
Yeah.
If you would have asked me, could I imagine the United States breaking up like pre 9/11? Like, no, absolutely not. I wouldn't have been for that. All for whatever, or just one nation under God, right? It's just stronger as one thing. I think that's how most people think, bro.
Centralized is good. Much better.
Right.
Always.
Yeah,
good.
we're stronger. I think most people, they don't like the word empire, but they like being number one.
Right.
It's like different stores, same groceries, right? Like you're the badass on the block. Well, you're the empire. You're
the part of the clique.
Balls.
Yeah. Yeah. And if not national divorce, then secession? Does that have better connotations?
No, they hate that one. That's very
Exactly.
racist. That's all that.
Like,
That's all that means.
National divorce is saying secession, but in a way that most normal people they might not even understand what that means and click on it and find out if they see secession. Like, I don't know, that's worse. What do you? I know you're not Scott Horton, but is there a better way to phrase this than national divorce, Dave? A more palatable way?
I would commend the ad wizards at the Libertarian Party who came up with that hashtag. And just like 9/11, I would respectfully disagree with my man, Scott Horton.
Right. Yeah, and a lot of people were having the stupid arguments. Like, I posted something about national divorce, and somebody came in and immediately commented on it and said, secession is illegal. That was the argument. You can't do it because it's illegal.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's like
That's
like the United Nations telling you, please don't realize that there's a shadow government right here. It's illegal because the corrupt people that we're seceding from claimed it to be illegal. Yeah,
that's okay. That's when Nixon was like, it can't be illegal if the president does it.
Right.
I like that.
I mean, that seems to be the case these days, but yeah.
Where's the lie?
Yeah, in a lot of the arguments were also like, well, if it splits up, it would, like, then you'd have to choose between red states and blue states? It's like, what if it wasn't just, like, in half? What if it was, as LPNH said, what if it was a threesome? At least.
Hey,
like,
yeah.
Let's at least start with
it's
that.
It's a magic number.
Yep.
Say it's 3. It's a magic number. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
It's funny because, like, so many people are just like, well, if it's not a red state, then it's a blue state. It's like, yeah, in our current system, that is the case. And if we're seceding or if we're splitting these territories up into something different, what makes you think that it's going to be red states and blue states? And I'm just like, that mentality of like, if it's not a red state, it's a blue state, is why we are given the current options of Donald fucking Trump versus Joe fucking Biden. Like, two despicable humans, and we have to defend either one or the other. Otherwise, we are deplorables or, idiots or something. Like, that type of mentality is why there is not a third party that is that is able to make any traction or any headway. It's like, you can't even think of a hypothetical concept of the nation splitting up into more than just two parts. So yeah. It's not surprising to me that you can only believe that you think that Trump is going to be the savior if Joe Biden sucks as hard as he does.
Yeah. I've seen some posts. People say, I think the first one I saw was like, oh, you don't want to split up the country. That's Russian and Chinese propaganda. I'm like, shut the fuck up. That's dumb.
Right.
And then I saw one that was like, you don't want to break up the country. That's UN propaganda. I was like, say what?
You have my attention. Okay.
Now tell me more. I'm interested.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, do you have concerns? Of course, like it. To me, anybody who's like, yeah, national divorce is the answer and nothing could possibly go wrong. Like the I don't know, what's it called? Libertarian utopia, whatever. Do you think it's far-fetched?
The only thing I can go by is history. And when the Soviet Union, which is so much like the American Empire in so many ways, when they collapsed, right? It was peaceful. Like, they did it without a war or a civil war, and that's cool. That's commendable. But what happened? There was still a power vacuum, and like vultures from around the world just came in and bought shit up and took the land and took over. And I'm not sure. I don't know a whole lot about Russian culture, but that you better be prepared for that kind of stuff. Right. Yeah, like just the free for all that might come from something like that. I don't know, man. I don't know where, again, to look at something like that. It's like Trump. It's like Alex Jones. It's like Bitcoin. Like, I don't know what is that better to like, I guess maybe
it's like, oh, well, you would be cutting your national defense in half. Well, that's assuming that we are completely unwilling to even cooperate with our neighboring states or territories or whatever on defense. And even still, we're going to be like, I mean, our national defense right now has very little to do with defense. It's hardly ever used to actually stop something. It's mostly used to, money launder and blow up brown kids and give weapons to terrorists. So what? We're going to give less aid to Ukraine and the Taliban? All right. I'm okay with that. That's fine.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, there was one other that I wanted to point out of a conservative who who's having his eyes a little bit opened, and his name is Steven Crowder, and here's what he had to say on the topic. This is going around trending, which I quite appreciate myself.
Any Republican right now in office or running for office who does not actively champion the defunding, the dismantling of our intelligence agencies, I will not vote for. Don't care who it is.
Mm-hmm.
Are you listening, Ted Cruz? Are you listening, DeSantis? Are you listening, Rubio? Are you listening, no? Any Republican...
Now, people have come out, like, making fun of Steven Crowder because he posted something or his episode yesterday was like, Mar-a-Lago is raided, this means war or something like that. Like, oh, he's getting slandered by the mainstream now for calling for war, and I'm sure he knew too that that's exactly what they would go with as soon as he put that as the headline. And
literal,
especially when he's saying stuff like this, I think, I think that this has value. I think that this is going to turn some heads because this is not a small deal. He's got a massive conservative following, and he's telling them, I'm not voting for these people anymore if they do not do something, if they do not get off their asses. And we know that they won't. We know that they won't do that. So, I don't know. Do you think that he will actually stand by this?
I don't watch his show a whole lot, but I like his man on the street stuff that he does. But I would imagine, if you have that kind of following and that kind of capital built up and you say it publicly like that, then I would imagine he'll try and honor that.
Yeah. I hope so. And again, I try to see the silver linings and everything. And this is, to me, a big one because these are people who are like, oh, yeah, the cops are cops and they're doing their job. Most of the, I'm putting words in his mouth, sure, but they're not typically like him and Matt Walsh and who's the other one? Jack Posobiec, like these big conservative names that have massive followings. They're typically, we need more cops so that we can stop more crime, which that's a conversation to be had whether or not you agree with that. But cops are the reason that cops are the enforcers of all corruption. Cops are the enforcers of all corrupt laws and everything in government. They are the Gestapo, and they are currently, raiding political opponents' houses. And sure, we might not have them quite to the extent of cops are bastards typically, but we do have them to the extent now that they're like saying things that libertarians have been saying, again, since the beginning of libertarianism, that these institutions are corrupt, like even more corrupt than, cops, boots on the streets cops. This is a good thing, in my opinion.
Yeah. Dude, it's a great time to kind of take it upon yourself to educate these people.
Yeah.
Explain the difference between law and order and the rule of law.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can do that because they just think they're the same thing.
Right. Yeah.
Interchangeable. Just go explain the difference.
If we don't have all these corrupt laws that are harming people, then there will be chaos in the streets. Like, they can't. It's either all laws or no laws. There's never an in between with some of these thought processes. If we scaled back the cops and lessened some of the laws, that wouldn't make people more peaceful. That would make them more violent, and they would be killing each other. I don't know. I don't buy that personally.
I don't either. It's not been my experience.
Yeah. So I like Reed Coverdale's quote or what he said on stage at PorkFest. Something to the effect of, the people that say, most cops are good or some cops are good. It's like the only cops that are good are the ones that aren't enforcing all the laws, all the corrupt laws. So that being the case, the only good cops are the ones not doing their job properly. That should tell you something about the institution itself. But I don't know. So all this to say, I think that. This Trump thing, I think it could have, it's obviously flagrant corruption and bullshit, and I think that they're doing Trump dirty, personally, but at the same time, I don't know. it's waking some people up. It's making people go take a second look at how these things operate and how things function. And I like what my anger for what they're doing to Trump isn't really like, it's anger out of corruption of the law, I suppose, or a corruption of, human rights and human dignity. But I'm mostly like, I'm not angry for Trump as much as I am angry for like where this leads, like with the new precedents that are being set here. While I want the country to split up into smaller segments or whatever, I don't want civil war. I don't want like the breakdown of society. I don't want the collapse. I'll be here to joke about it the entire time and ride that wave, but that's not what I personally want. And I think that's kind of what this leads to. As we've talked about many times on the show, like, it's not enough. It's not enough to believe lies. We need inversions of truth. We need to completely overturn every fact and thought that is in common society. And then we're going to attack political opponents that disagree. And once we're in power, like once Trump gets in power, he's going to allegedly, hypothetically, I think he's going to be more pissed off if you believe that sort of thing, if you believe that he's actually going to be there for real. Like, on the surface, actual level, no conspiracy theories or whatever, this sets a precedent of attack your political opponent, not just attack them, legitimately like raid their homes and put them in danger, physical danger, because they disagree with you. And again, it's not going to matter whether or not Trump gets arrested or Hillary gets arrested. You're going to be arrested for these same things if you go along with this, because the divide increases every single time one of these lies comes out. The left puts out a lie, they push it down everybody's throats, and the left still believes every single one of them to this day, and you cannot convince them otherwise. I've tried. You can't do it. No matter how reasonable and rational they are, their brains cannot fathom that Donald Trump in Charlottesville didn't say that the fine people hoax thing. He's never condemned white supremacy, even though he's done it 100,000 times, including 5 seconds after that clip. Like, there's so many things that they just believe the lies, and then you've got some people on the right that are believing Trump's lies, and then you've got people like us who are like, yeah, this is all bullshit. But the divide is ever increasing as these things move, and I can't tell personally if that's a good thing as a somewhat collapsitarian or a bad thing. In that it is pitting all of us against each other in what could very well be civil war, not to use, Tim Pool's shtick. But Dave, any thoughts on that ramble? Or any of this stuff?
If we are in the collapse of the empire, if it's being if it's a controlled demolition or not, right? Then no matter what, we're doing the right thing by trying to plant the seeds for what should come next.
Yeah.
Because they are trying to tear down civilization. And they would love to replace the rule of law here with comply.
Yeah.
That's the goal. End goal. Fuck all your documents and all this shit. One rule, comply. So I feel like we should be that third party. That whatever. I don't like the threesome analogy as much in this one, but maybe if it's a national divorce, like the kid that's like, yo, mom, dad, don't stay together for me. You guys have your whole lives to live and you hate each other.
Yeah.
I'll be fine because
I'll be okay.
Cool.
Like,
I'm confident in myself, right?
Don't stick it out to the point that you guys are shooting each other in the face. Maybe just part your separate ways at this point.
Yeah. The whole all of us living under the same house rules is driving everyone insane.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just best we do the hard thing and peel off the Band-Aid. And best case scenario is we give up the empire. We can all have our own way. Live and let live. Everybody loves that slogan.
Yeah.
Right? You do you. I'll do me. And we'll respect each other. Maybe we can get back to that long after you and I are gone.
That'd be great. It'd be great. Yeah. So are you, does the Trump thing, I don't know where I stand even in this question, but are you, since all this, are you more white-pilled or more black-pilled, more gray-pilled? Does it have any bearing on where you stand in our, not just society, but like future as humans?
Oh, man. Yeah, I'm still kind of like, it'll probably get weirder and darker before it gets better. But I still don't know what to think about Trump, but I just like Nick Sarwark, kind of. I treat him the same way. Like, doesn't really matter if you're a Fed or not. You know, it doesn't really matter if you're Batman or if you're a useful idiot or what. Like, I can kind of tell what you're being used for. Maybe you're participating. Maybe you don't even know you're the mark. Like, but I can kind of tell what the Trump deception is all about and what that's being used for on both sides, right?
Yeah. Does
something to the right, like fuels them up. Does something to the left, like gives them that enemy that they need so bad.
Right.
So yeah, I'm just like kind of trying to, I don't know. I think I'm done trying to calm them down. Each side, like they're not going to calm down. That was my move, maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So now I'm trying to maybe lay the foundation for the future and, find our community, make that better.
Right. It's tough because like my whole show premise from the beginning was, hey, we all disagree on these very controversial things, but we can at least talk about it. And it's like, I'm still talking about it, but some people don't seem like they want to talk about it all that much. They want to, they want to kill each other, essentially. Like not even hypothetically. Some of these people. I was sharing some things yesterday. Like people were sending me stuff that's like, whatever, you MAGA tard, go out and shoot up your neighbor's house with your AR-15. It's like, Twitter, dear Twitter, is this a call to violence? Because it seems like one to me. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's because I've been on Twitter too much this week, but people are unhinged out there, and it's starting to make me feel a little bit like the Joker, just sticking his head out the cop window, laughing. It's like, okay, whatever, y'all do your thing, but I don't know.
That is the thing we have to be aware of. We would love people to get along because we want that, but they don't care that we want that, and they hate us.
Right.
That is true, and they would lump us in with the same groups that John Brennan would. Just assume, that they're on the same page as John Brennan. Anybody to the right of AOC, pretty much in that category. And yeah, you're definitely in there, bro. So it's just something to be aware of. It's like being in the Matrix, right? Like we want them to wake up, but they're all agents until we get out of here.
Right. Absolutely. Hefflum Swizzle says, exactly. It's time to focus on our community and the people who are paying attention. I'm done waiting for the others to catch up. Yes, exactly. And Carlin said, Twitter makes people insane. Yes, it absolutely does. I shared yesterday, it's a Donnie Darko gif where he's like standing, like just looking creepy, and he sees Frank on the other side of this thing, and he's trying to stab through it.
Awesome. Yeah.
Like, this is how I feel on Twitter, just like trying to break through to the evil, and I'm like, I don't care. I'm going to keep poking. I don't know. It's a little bit of an obsession for me, but it's fun. I try to not let it affect my brain, but it's not possible. Anyway, Dave, thank you. Thank you for being here. We're going to wrap this up and jump over to the after party, and you're welcome to stay or not, whatever you feel like doing, but we've got some other things to talk about. Dave, thank you again. Tell people where they can find Dave. What platforms he's still allowed to be on?
Yeah, so far, YouTube. Check me out there, Dave versus Goliath, and Odyssey as well. On Instagram and Facebook. Facebook still let me on. I just can't stream at the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, check that out. Also, check out Libertarian Party of Delaware on Facebook and Twitter.
Agreed. They're an unofficial sponsor of the show as well. So check out the Libertarian Party of Delaware because one of them is paying me money for nothing. And so plugs and props and whatnot.
These are good people, yeah.
Absolutely. All right, guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for tuning in. We're at 1:45. We're 15 minutes shorter than normal. So I was right for the first time ever. I said I would be shorter, and it was shorter.
Yeah.
That's right.
Did it.
So, guys, yeah, thank you. I don't have anything planned. Wait, I do. I think there's a show I'm going on. Whatever. I'll put it out on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter at TSIDpod. Find all the links to everything at thesystemsdown.tv. And, yeah. Like, share, subscribe, do all that stupid stuff. Come join us in the after party. We're going to be talking about lots of things. Some pop culture, maybe. We might talk about Kanye West and Skeet Davidson and Kim Kardashian. That, speaking of threesomes, that's going on, that Illuminati hit job. Fun stuff, some pop culture stuff, also some Fauci and COVID stuff, and some space chorizo. If you don't know what that means, come find out, because we like to talk about how space is fake and gay in the after party. So come on over, patreon.com/thesystemsdown. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll talk to you guys at least next Wednesday, if not sooner, and I have a very special guest that's going to be joining me then as well. But, yeah, thanks. I've said that like 5 times. Go. That's good. Oh, Patreon. I did not send out the link yet. I will send that out before we go live here in just a moment, so be on the lookout for that if you're going to join us in the after party for as little as $1. Peace out.
Dun, 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 dun.
Welcome to the system, everyone's a victim. Doesn't matter if you're black or white, it hates you all. Here is how the system, violence is a symptom. Fighting for what's right, but somehow everyone is wrong.
Dun, 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 dun.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe on your way out and help us change the world one uncomfortable conversation at a time. And if you like what you hear and you want to hear more, go join the Downers Club at patreon.com/thesystemsdown for bonus episodes of the show every single week. Until next time, please continue to question everything, stay uncomfortable, and I'll talk to you then. Thanks.
This has been a Goulash Media production. GoulashMedia.net.
This concludes our broadcast day. Click.